Hi, folks. Welcome to Hermit's Rest. This is going to be one of my first just shoot the breeze videos. Has absolutely no purpose. There's a great Sufi, ancient Sufi belief system that regards pursuing things that don't really have any purpose. Now, I know this is contrary to the way we've pretty much been raised, but give it some thought because there's some mystical stuff that goes on during the process. If you're pursuing something for the sheer joy of it and pursuing that which makes your heart soar, it can be pretty cool. We don't always have to have a purpose. I discovered that several years ago when I started carving. Here's a couple of my latest. There's some people that like seeing these, so I'll quickly show them. I've got a link on my home page that leads to a little WordPress site that I'd set up with people, ask, oops, well, whatever. Luckily, that's the other thing, they're durable. If I sold them, and I sold actually a few, but it's come to my, I just don't think it's worthwhile, so I might just have a gallery or whatever. Everybody's homepage usually has an email that this guy I've always liked. He's just sort of pointy. Or you can contact him. I might, I'm still up for sharing these and selling them. I was selling them for like $26 a piece, which 10 of that was covering the cost of the free shipping. But at any rate, we live in such a remote area and the roads are so bad that we had to wait, before we could get our last batch out for sales. Most of the people that were buying them were very understanding, but it really is a hassle when you're living out kind of in the middle of nowhere on some rough roads for sales, so I don't know if I'll continue doing them. I might leave the site up, but I'm not going to have it set up with the procedures and the tediousness of of how to purchase them. The site has an email. You can email and ask. But just if you do, and you're going there from this video, just remember that I am not a commercial retail seller. I'm an old hermit that whittles. If you'd like one of the whittlings, bear with us, and we'll be happy to do it. I mean, we've got the packaging and the ability to mail them out. Somebody once asked me, do you have any opinion on the world? Well, yeah, sure. It's one of the reasons I'm a hermit, Lori and I. Lori is my news hound. She's in the back room and goes, "Oh, for God's sake!" Then I know something interesting is happening. One of the latest that I thought I'd just mention, because it's kind of interesting dealing with people in power, their mentality, and that was the President of the United States decided to go to a fundraiser in Los Angeles during an atmospheric river storm. I mean, the weather bureau was saying, stay off the roads, stay home. Flooding was going on and all this stuff. And no kidding, here comes the President of the United States with a motorcade tying up traffic. It took one lady, that Jimmy Kimmel, who's on TV, his wife, an hour and a half to go 6 miles. Damn, that's irritating. And this has no political opinion on the president or any of that. I don't want to get into that. It doesn't matter to me. But it's the mentality of people in power, especially world leaders that just think they're above everybody else. I'll tell you why that is. It's when we elect these people and all of a sudden they've got these gigantic motorcades and billions of dollars are spent in helicopters and Boeing 747s are bigger for Air Force One, whatever it is, and $1 million tank, limos, and then the motorcade and all that. And people always addressing you as Mr. President and that kind of stuff. Hey, if you don't have your inner act together, it's going to affect you. And you're going to become a jerk. I mean, in a way. I mean, bear with me. But Yeah, all of a sudden you think you're above everybody else because people treat you like you're above everybody else. Therefore, you can behave like you are. Um, I think that security guards and all that stuff. That's just to get attention. I mean, in motorcades and police blocking off traffic and all that. Hell, if a head of state wanted to go from point A to point B in the most secure fashion whatsoever, they'd just go there in a Prius, and nobody paying attention to them. Anyway, that's one of the things that irritates. I'll cross that off my list. Another thing I thought I'd mention, YouTube channels and creators. A lot of us that watch YouTube channels have our own channels. And, I watch a lot of people, and they try so hard to get to a point where they can make, money. I'm here to say I've tried researching. I can never find any exact data. There's a site that has some channels that make $40,000 a month, if you can believe that. Whatever. But just bear in mind that there are very, very few. It's a small percentage of channels that make a substantial amount of money. I think it's like 2 or 3%. And then once I tried to find, what the percentage was for people that were making, just a modest $100 or $200 a month. Couldn't quite find that percentage, but I'm sure it's very, very, very minimal. This channel is monetized, but it's a very complicated process with YouTube and Google AdSense. Supposedly, I've generated some ad revenue. Haven't received any yet, minimal amount. And who knows? Then you wait for them to pay and all this other stuff. But like I said, that's never been my purpose here. Speaking of YouTube and videos, content creators, I enjoy watching a lot of videos, and I marvel. I'm a hermit. I don't pay as much attention to the news as Lori does, so I go to YouTube because the content creators are an incredible cross section of humanity. They are a great cross section of humanity. If you want to see the trends and see where people are at and what's going on and all that, watch some YouTube videos and check out the content creators. There are content creators that, are making substantial amounts of money, $1,000, $2,000 a month. And basically, it's just a reality show of them doing the same repetitive things over and over. And if you comment on their channel, they don't even respond. 50,000, 400,000 subscribers or whatever, and a lot of views, and they're too busy, I guess. I only bring that up because I just discovered a guy up in Minnesota, a hell of a woodsman. He's got a beautiful channel, living in cheap little homemade cabins and bike trailers that he made. His videos were averaging 3.5 million views. He had one video that garnered 3,500 comments, and he's only got about 18,000 subscribers, but it's not the subscribers, my friend, it's the views. And when you get up in the 2.5 million views, you're making grandola. You're making thousands of dollars. But this guy is very unpretentious, very sincere, very simple, fascinating wooded scenes and things where he goes, but I left him a comment and said, hey, wow, right when I was losing faith in any content creators that, maybe had some, original videos to show. I found you, and I really appreciate it because it was original. And 3,500 comments, and the next day the guy leaves a reply to my comment. Wow, thanks a lot. That means a lot to me. Now, if he can respond to 3,500 people, I don't know why other people can't. I've watched successful YouTube channels, content creators that have 40,000 subscribers and can average $5,000 and $8,000 views, 5,000 and 8,000 person views. I just saw one recently. It's one of my favorite actually. It's kind of an older gal my age. that's sort of traveling around in a van as a van lifer or a nomad. She's not really, actually. If you look behind the scenes, you can always sort of find the truth. I mean, she's got other resources, but she talks about being poor and all that. No, she's not poor. She's making hundreds, if not, a good $1,000 a month more or whatever. Anyway, her latest video, and recently her videos are, how she got angry and was gonna, punch these people, out. And I thought, oh, for Christ's sake! I mean, really, what a nasty, nasty personality. If I do say so myself, I don't care if I get flack from it. A nasty personality. And yet, my God, there she's got hundreds of comments from her subscribers. Right on, that's what I would do. Go, go, go. And then you've got other flower children, gentle kind of people that, have some pretty neat, successful content and video. It's a cross section, you get people that are just doing videos to make money. You can spot them a mile away. They've got deceptive, headlines and deceptive thumbnails. Attractive women are notorious for, flaunting their beauty. But hey, it pays if that's what they want to do. There was a lady that I was starting to follow because she seemed pretty sincere. And then she was complaining about YouTube banning her constantly and taking down her videos. And basically it was because she just sort of sits in her cabin. She's got large augmented breasts, and she flaunts them. I mean, she's practically topless, which means nothing to me. I mean, couldn't care less. I'm not enamored by that. But she had one video when she first started that I watched where she was going to show you her property. So it's her on an ATV. And I think, well, this is kind of neat. What does 5 acres up in Canada or wherever it was look like? But no, she's got the camera facing her front, and she's wearing no bra and a loose top. And so you've got 3 minutes of bouncing breasts going over this entire, terrain. Finally, on the way back, because I really wanted to see this property, she did face the camera where you could see the woods. And actually, it didn't look like, the neatest development that I've seen. Anyway, it happened to come up on my home screen, the same video, and I said, hey, it's still alive and well. 1.5 million views. The damn thing went viral. I guess people are still enamored by large breasts. So let's say I did a percentage that make money, not many. Content creators, they vary. They're all over the place, I came across another one. This guy's playing the role of the hillbilly, sort of the hillbilly violent right-wing hippie, talking about carrying a gun and screw people that don't have any money. I've got money. And I'll tell you what, I can see right through the dude. He inherited it from his family. And that's okay too, but don't come off like you're some brilliant money strategist and all that other stuff. I'm going to end with one of my favorite things, and I'll see, once again, I always say this, if I can even upload this video. It's going on 13 minutes. I tried the other day that one on building permits, and you got to bear in mind when I do a thing like that, listen, because I was only talking about 3 counties in northern Arizona, and the reason I picked those 3 is because they've become quite popular for for van lifers and nomadics. Excuse me, that want to buy property, and so I was just telling you the real skinny about what's involved. Doesn't mean you have to do it, and just because I did it doesn't mean that I'm insisting other people do it. It's a tedious process. But here's one of my favorite things in life: happenstance. Serendipity, happenstance, things that just happen. You ever all of a sudden just had something go great, go your way, or just work out perfect, and you didn't even try? Well, the ancient Taoist, 200 years BCE, had come up with a philosophy and a way of living called Wu Wei, and which basically means effortless accomplishment. And I went through life early on in a linear sequential thought process, wrecking havoc, with my convictions and opinions. I mean, I wasn't always hostile or anything, but I mean, I knew, barge our way through, kind of stuff. And when I retired and came out to Hermit's Rest 27 years ago, that started to subside. And then when I started reading the ancient mystical scriptures, it just totally went away. And I remember the first time I experienced it, I built a little gazebo out of fallen limbs, dead fallen limbs. And I decided for the first time in my life I wasn't going to plan it or think it. I just sort of dug a hole, like maybe here I can stick a limb for an upright post in this entire property, which has got so much surface rock. By golly, I got down 8 inches, and I built the entire thing without thought. And it cost me, one of these days, I'll shoot a photo of it. It's still standing. That was 27 years ago. It cost me a grand total of about $15. That was another time when I first bought this small trailer before it got converted into a small cabin. And I might add, acknowledged by the county as a one-bedroom site-built home. Hey, Um, and I had this air conditioner that was on the roof, pretty heavy. It was just me out here for the longest time. And it was like, oh, how am I going to get this air conditioner off that roof? I mean, that's pretty heavy, and that kind of deal. And I woke up one morning and just had the desire to do that, and I got out a screwdriver without thinking and just started taking the interior shrouding off, and that was easy enough. And then I went up on the roof and uh, started taking off some of the flanges and all that other stuff. Eventually, I believe I got a rope or something, as I recall, and just kind of slid it down. Anyway, to make a long story short, bingo, no thought, no plan. The air conditioner, was down on the ground. Now it doesn't mean look before you leap, but sometimes progressing on without overthinking on it, without a lot of thoughts, can be very beneficial. And I'll tell you the latest thing that's really fascinating as far as happenstance. So anybody that lives in northern Arizona, rural property, knows that there's not water is not readily available. You don't dig a well 50 feet even and find water. And so for us up in our neck of the woods, you'd have to drive to the nearest railroad well, which is about 15, 16 miles. Going down some rough road, you tear up your truck. And so, as I've mentioned before, we have water delivered. I like supporting those guys. And, so far we can afford it. And it's an easier approach. Well, lo and behold, about a month ago, Lori and I are sitting up here, and for 3 weeks we're hearing this boom, boom, boom. And you see the thing vibrating, because that's what it almost felt like. And then we hear this rumor, or Lori looks out and says, hey, it looks like they got a water drilling rig out there, and they're drilling for water. Well, around here, hey, you can go down hundreds of feet before you're going to get water. Anyway, the latest rumor, and it's substantiated by some very valid rumor people, we'll have to go down and check it out, is the individual actually hit water. He's got a well. He spent well over $100,000, but he's got water, and his intention is to set up a little water filling station for the local community. So all of a sudden, after 27 years, I have possibly a water source only 100 yards away from the property. Who would have guessed? Who would have thought? No planning, no thought. I didn't even wish for that. It just arrived. Kind of like how Lori, my wife, arrived, just showed up. Just keep yourself open to happenstance and the wonderful serendipity that, that we can encounter in life. And one of the best ways is to go through without, like I was doing with, these opinions and linear sequential thought processes and planning and enforcing your will on the cosmos. You don't have to do that. If you quit resisting, the cosmos will just fill you up with all kinds of amazing things, like a water well or a wife. I'll see you later.